Today, we are going to revisit the Chasing Cardboard The Rock autographs once again. It's a very interesting one because both those cards are now ended up in PSA slabs.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
Straight off the bat say there's not an apology coming from me, and I'm gonna get to my thoughts on that in a second, because the main talking point, the main problem with this situation is still being washed over by Chasing Cardboard, and it seems a lot of their followers are also forgetting this. Now, I'm going to take you through basically everything and then give you my thoughts. Now, on screen right now, you can see that they did a live yesterday, and I'm basically recording this not too many hours after they've actually done it. But essentially what happened is they got those cards, sent them off to PSA after failing the PSA quick opinion, and they ended up getting authenticated by PSA. Now, we'll talk to what this means for quick opinions in a second, but basically a lot of people saw this and then went down the throats of Sports Card Radio. If you go here and look at the chat and also the comments, people are going crazy for Sports Card Radio. And Ty says something very interesting here around the 17-minute mark, where he talks about how there's a lot of voices out there in the hobby and you need to be careful who you listen to and who you trust, right? And trust is sort of everything. And then they went to go on to talk about the situation as a whole, but they left a key part out that's actually the crux of the problem here and is the reason why there's not an apology coming. Now, what they did with these autos, the first one they gave away to someone in the comments. I think they picked 5 people and then randomized it between them. And then the other one they've put up for sale on their eBay page to auction off, and the proceeds will go to charity, which I think is freaking cool. The thing that I don't like is that comment there from Ty that once again goes to that sentiment of maybe an egotistical nature that we've seen in his feedback responses to people on eBay, and then to the people that he was responding to on the comments that we discussed in the last video. He basically implied once again that he had done nothing wrong. And the problem on this is not the autographs themselves, right? It's the reaction that Ty had when a customer bought the card, did a BGS quick opinion, and what he did there afterwards. Like I said, it's not the autos, it is the reaction or the lack of action, right? In that instance, we discussed previously that you'd expect a seller to at least update the listing. You know, if a customer came to them with something like that, not immediately relist it like he did, not then have communications with Sports Card Radio saying he took it down because he didn't have the warm and fuzzies about it. You know, that point there needed to be addressed by Ty, and it's not been addressed by him or Mike in this video. And that is really disappointing to see, because it's not a big deal. All you sort of needed him to say was, you know what, I think you guys are right about this thing. I stuffed up, right? But we've done this now. This proves that maybe the quick opinions aren't as good as what they thought, which is what I had in the back of my mind when I just did decide to relist the card. But I'll try and do better next time. That's almost all you wanted in this instance. But it's not just the fact that they've sort of ignored it. It's almost the fact they've doubled down, which implies that they don't think they did anything wrong. And I just want to reiterate, if you as a seller get a customer come to you and say, listen, I won this card, it looks like it's fake, can you please refund my money? You would refund the money like Ty did in that instance, because the customer wanted it. It happens on eBay all the time. Unfortunately, people want to cancel things as soon as they win. But you'd expect him to say, okay, I've got this card here. The person that I bought it from knows it's genuine, but Beckett have said it failed. So maybe I should do a bit more assessment, maybe get PSA's opinion on it, which PSA also failed, but now it's authenticated. Or I should maybe update the listing to state that it failed the opinion, or something along those lines. You would have expected something other than an immediate relist. And the complete lack of acknowledgement as that being potentially an improvement point for him as an individual, or him as a business, or his business, was really disappointing to see. And that's then compounded by almost everyone that you're sort of seeing in the live chat, including people like Retro Hoops, actually, where he basically says, this is fantastic, this is awesome, screw everyone else. Basically, everyone is sort of saying this in the comments, basically shitting on Sports Card Radio. I just said basically a lot. I do apologize. But it's just really interesting that that's where the conversation went. People have forgotten. The problem is not the autographs. The problem is your reaction in the first place when a customer came to you with that concern, showing that BGS said they were fake. That's the problem. Your reaction was the problem. Not anything else, your reaction. And then you proceeded to double down on it in all your comments and going after people in comments and all this sort of thing. That is the problem. That's always been the problem. So I don't understand how you guys could sit there on a live and not talk about it. Now, this is not going to ruin my life or anything like that. I love the fact that charity is going to benefit off the back of this. We need more things like this in the hobby. You know, we need to turn more negative situations into positive situations for as many people as we can. I'm still a huge fan of Chasing Cardboard. I watch their content all the time. This is just disappointing from my perspective. And for that reason, like people have asked me to apologize, I'm not going to apologize, because the problem is the thing that they still have not addressed. You shouldn't have done that in the first place, right? You should have been better when the customer came to you. People make mistakes. People don't care if you made a mistake. Right? We discussed this last time. Who cares if you did it? People make, lapses in judgment. It's the repeated, double down that you're doing, and the fact that you're completely ignoring it tells me that you're completely justified in what you actually did. That's just my opinion, but I'm keen to get your thoughts down in the comments below, because it's just so weird to me. When people make mistakes in the moment, you can sort of understand that because that was their immediate reaction, right? But the fact that you've now got time to continue to think about it and then double down on it and ignore it completely, that's where it's like, okay, well, you don't actually think you did anything wrong. Yet there's 50% of the people in those comments in that chat, on social media are saying maybe you should have done better in that instance. So all you had to do in that live stream was to say, we get it. This is where we stuffed up. Not, you need to, there's a lot of voices out there in the hobby. You need to be careful who you listen to. You need to, trust who you listen to. That's the gist of what he was saying. And then he made a comment about the watchdogs are watching this video. Yeah, we know you're here. Like it's a negative thing to say a seller was notified of a card that they had for sale being fake, right? That's what happened, and they still relisted it. That's not a bad thing to call out. And the fact that you're trying to, downplay that is just ridiculous to me. And again, that's why there's no apology coming, because you haven't acknowledged that you made that mistake, irrespective of how big or small it was in the moment. It is what it is. Now, I think a very important thing to talk about here is why you basically shouldn't be going through the quick opinions with the likes of Beckett or PSA, because in this instance, they've clearly dropped the ball, right? They've dropped the ball completely. Now, it'd be pretty interesting to see if Beckett themselves would authenticate these orders. There's lots of tinfoil hats out there right now, but, PSA are not going to put their names to something unless they truly believe it, right? And I think that's, good of them that they still, went ahead and authenticated despite already giving it a failed opinion, despite BGS already giving it a failed opinion. It's good to sort of see them do that. But again, what does it mean for quick opinions? It means, yeah, sure, get one, but it doesn't mean that it's a sure thing. And it doesn't matter if you get a yes from Beckett and then you send it in, they could still change their mind and say no. If they say no, you could still get a yes, like in this instance. So, do with what you want with quick opinions. The still best approach to buying in-person autographs is going to be doing your research, like we explained in the last video, where we played that video for that, or from that guy, I should say, where he took you through a process on how to spot certain autos. Now, this is an interesting one. Like I said, there's no apology. I don't think it's justified in this instance because the same problem has been ignored once again. And I'm keen to get your thoughts on this down in the comments below. I'm not somebody that hides or shies away from criticism. You've seen plenty of times I've made updated videos when I've got something wrong or need to do the right thing. I'm a fair and balanced dude. I really like Chasing Cardboard in terms of their content. I don't like what they've done in this instance. I don't like, anything about this process at all, other than the fact that money's going to charity and, these autographs ended up being real. That's a pretty cool thing. And sorry for the guy that, didn't pay $66 for it, because it's obviously worth a heck of a lot more money now. But again, the real problem is what I said. The real problem is the fact that you ignored that customer, relisted it, and then told Sports Card Radio that you had a problem with it. But now you've sort of backtracked on that. Acknowledge it. Say you made the mistake. End of discussion. It's not a big deal. Nobody really cares. It is what it is. So cheers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.